Hey everybody, welcome back to The Boost. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a great day, great week, summertime. We've been delving into this world of understanding yourself, identity. Identity is everything. What you identify with is how you're going to find the strength to do the things that you would have otherwise not been able to do. But the problem with identity is that you have to really identify with the right stuff. When you identify with the right things happen. You see this all the time, right? Like someone identifies as a patriot, let's say, not the football team, the nationalism. They identify with their country, they identify with their people, and they're willing to do incredible things for their people, put their lives at risk. But they wouldn't be able to do it with anything else, which is really hard sometimes when it comes to things like the army. There's a lot of studies on elite soldiers who are willing to put their life on the line time and time again when they're young, because that's when they're in the army, and then they come out and there's nothing that they identify with as much as that. And what ends up happening is you take somebody in their 20s, especially elite soldiers, and really in the formative years of their adult life, they are pushed beyond anything they thought were possible, physically, mentally, emotionally. And they do it because they develop an identity as being this elite soldier, as being this warrior for their people, for their country. And they're these uber successful, uber productive people fighting for a cause they believe in. And then they graduate out of the army, whatever, 25, 26, whatever it takes. At some point, they age out, and some stay in, and some go, and some leave. And the challenge that some of them face is that there's nothing that they ever get again. Some do. That gives them that level of identity as they had when they were younger. But you look at their lives and you would say, wait, I understand something. Like, you're not putting yourself at risk. You're not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. You're not being thrown out of an airplane. You're not running 17 miles. Like, why are you upset? Like, all the stuff that you complained about, all the things that you did, you had to carry a stretcher across a beach for 17 miles. You almost died 100 times. Like, now you get in a car and drive to work. Like, life's good. And they'll look at you and say, no, it's not. And you'll say, why? And if they're self-aware, they'll say, because when I was breaking down my physical, I was tapping into something more. And the identity was something bigger than myself. And the ability to push past the comfort in search for that which is bigger than myself felt different. They were having a spiritual experience. And in seeing past yourself into the larger good and connecting to an ideal that was more than my physical survival and more than my material competition, I was pushing past my physical in order to tap into my spiritual. And tapping into my spiritual feels exponentially better than living in my physical. That's what happens. You see young guys and girls that now live lives, and they get it again sometimes, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes you see this with sports. Sports is, I think a lower level, obviously, than an army. But you see it there too. People that identify with something bigger than self. Okay, in this case, I'm not in any way connecting the life and death struggles of a soldier with the wins and losses of a player. And the spirituality is much different, but it's still low-level spirituality. Fighting for a cause bigger than self. Pushing past your physicalness. Doing it for a greater cause. And then after it's done, even though your physicalness is easier, you don't have it. You see this with families. You see the people that are part of their communities. But really, 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 it's really the search of self. Because the more you identify with something greater than yourself, the more you realize that you're a part of something greater than yourself, the more your identity is connected to something deeper, the more you realize that the challenges that are in front of you are ways to extract that which is within you. And the reason why we can't get through things is because, not because we can't, it's because we haven't made the connection to something more. We haven't clarified the parts of our lives in which something more is worth it, in which I'm identifying with something beyond myself, so that when I get pushed and I get exhausted and I get scared and I don't want to do it, I can go to my identity and say, this is who I am. And that which I know, that my identity at my core is infinite. There's no I can't, because I don't know if I can or I can't, because I have never done it before in this particular moment. And so I don't know the power that I have within me. Maybe it'll overwhelm the limitness that I have around me. So I don't really know. But for me to be able to do it again and again, I have to be more than myself. I have to either feel that I'm on a mission in life, and so every time I push myself, I'm expressing my own self-mission, which always includes other, or if it's less sophisticated spiritually, I'm in a mission with people. I'm involved in this group, family, community, mission, whatever. I'm involved in this organization. We're changing the world, changing someone's life, making a difference. Your identification with something beyond yourself and something within yourself is what drives past the I can't. Because it's only in that identification do you have a shot to find your true self. And finding and tapping into your true self, which is your soul, feels so much greater than living with your body. You pull a SEAL, you pull a commando, you pull a parent, you pull a community leader. You pull them off the route. You take someone who's given their lives to other people, and give them the ability to just retire and do nothing all day. They'll love it for a week. They'll go out of their minds in a month. Out of their minds. And you see this with people, really. There are people that are worked out. They've worked it through. They've identified something more. They've attached to something deeper. You'll see they can't retire. They can't. Where they retire, they can't. They've aligned their body and their soul and their life. And you see other people who haven't, whose souls, whose things that are deeper are apart from what they do, and they can't connect it. And they're always running away from the challenges because they don't really identify with a mission that's deeper, with more, or themselves as deeper. And so it's a life of capacity and exhaustion, capacity and exhaustion, capacity and exhaustion, without any depth to what it means, without any recognition that it's bringing out a deeper piece of myself, without any feeling that I'm feeding a bigger cause. And their life, they may have a lot of good stuff in it. I can't, until one day, I'm done. I'm done. And they are. And they just stop fighting. And the physicalness sort of, I'm not judging it, I'm telling you what I see. Just the physicalness sort of like sets in. And now just being able to somehow maintain as much comfort as I can. And I'll go a step further. I mean, we'll talk about this next time. When you see somebody whose life is physical comfort, you can almost assume they're lacking in spiritual mission. Because physical comfort is it's like the microwave. You'll eat. It just doesn't taste as good as the real food. But if all you're doing is getting used to eating at the microwave, after a while, you can't taste the deeper food. When sometimes you see people whose life is physical competition and physical comfort, sometimes it's because they've given up on their ability to ever go deeper. Or they don't believe that they actually have it. The ability to be part of that mission, or the ability to identify as a soul. And so if you can't be a soul, you might as well be a comfortable body. Okay, we'll talk about this. All right, everybody, have a great day. God's help, can't wait to see you again tomorrow.
Living on a lifeline, the world doesn't ever seem to change. Looking for the sunshine, but you're caught up in the rain. It's like your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see. You're watching life pass you by like 1, 2, 3. Walking in destruction, the winds of life blur your vision. All the devastation forever feels like you're on the run. It's time, no one else can set you free. You're locked inside, and only you have got the key.